Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and is it just me or is it getting hot in here? And I'm not just saying that because the English weather is finally starting to look up and it's slightly starting to feel like summer. Thank you, Eurovision, for blessing us every single year. But of course, we did actually get a quarterly teaser type thing from the Sims team a couple of weeks ago now, and I made a full video. I'll link it up here. Basically going over my predictions, my speculation. It's one of my favorite times in the Sims community where we can all put our big brains on and just really go wild with theories. Hello, I'm a Swiftie. Of course, I love a good conspiracy theory, don't I? But of course, in that quarterly teaser, it says we can expect a hot update, and a lot of people a lot smarter than me were basically saying, hey, could this be the Caliente refresh? And it makes sense. Caliente is literally the Spanish word for hot. And so for today, I basically thought I would go over what I would do for a Townie refresh of the Calientes if it were my opinion, if I had any input on this whatsoever. But here we have them, and yeah, they're hot. What can I say? She was active, ambitious, and romantic. I've actually made her hot-headed, romantic, and non-committal. I don't think they'll actually change the traits when it comes to a Townie refresh. I'm 99.9% sure they actually didn't do that with the Goths. She's also wants to be fabulously wealthy. I figured, basing on the Sims 2 lore, she kind of does want to get married into money, and so I thought I would roll with that. Basically, I heavily based specifically Nina and Dina on their Sims 2 versions. They were half alien in the Sims 2, and they kind of had features that sort of resembled that. They had very long faces, very prominent chins, which was definitely an element of aliens within the Sims 2, which was really, really sick. And then I also played around with her likes and dislikes. So she likes black and red, she dislikes brown. She doesn't like ambitious Sims. Again, it's the wanting money. She does quite like arguments, so she likes argumentative Sims, likes egotistical Sims, likes romance enthusiasts, and likes spirited Sims, because I feel like she is romantic and also spirited herself. Loves affection, loves arguments, loves complaints, loves compliments. Honestly, doesn't really dislike much other than potty humor and small talk. And then these are the fits that I chose for her. So again, in The Sims 2, she seemed to wear a lot of black, and I definitely wanted her to show herself off a little bit more. She is rocking the traditional Bella dress, which we all know. There is definitely a little bit of competition with Bella disappearing in The Sims 2, and then honestly either Nina or Dina or both of them trying to get with Morty. I don't know. I can't really remember the storyline. It's been a hot minute since I played The Sims 2. I actually gave her the pink lip gloss. I don't know why, but I feel like if she was born in the UK, she would absolutely be one of the girlies who just wore foundation on their lips. And the makeup is very Sims 2-esque, but I also feel like that's part of them, and that's part of the Caliente culture. I now know where some of my choices came for Dina Caliente, and I read her biography from The Sims 2. It's often said that Dina has a mind of her own, but is quick to disagree. She likes chocolate and dreams of making it big. So if you actually have Get Famous, I have her acting as an activity. I might also add singing on there. I do feel as if she would try to get famous in any way. She also has the fortune aspiration in The Sims 2, so that's kind of where being rich and famous came from. Then we have her sister Nina. Nina is actually known as the brains of the twins, which I didn't really put into her traits, and I kind of wish I did. I honestly would probably change hot-headed for genius. I also don't know why I added childish. Get rid of childish and add genius onto there. I like her being the brains. That's where the childish came in. I pulled that from The Sims 3. Honestly, she is serving me anything but lazy Sims 4. She is smart and she has so many many side hustles going on. She seemed like a little bit more dressed down. Obviously, there are still some outfits where she looks very much put together, which is not surprising. Like, the Calientes are known for being hot and like winning people over with their looks. Also, I find it adorable that their outerwears kind of match. Then, of course, we have Mr. Lothario himself, Don Lothario. He is married to Cassandra Goth. He actually is in a relationship, has a lover sentiment with Kaylin, is the lover of Nina, and also has a crush on Dina Caliente. Like, he is out here romancing everyone in The Sims 2. So many ladies, so little time. When Don isn't thinking about dating, he's sleeping. Of course he's a Leo. That makes so much sense. And honestly, Don is kind of bizarre to me in The Sims 4. Like, I feel he had such a strong sense of himself in every other Sims game. And you can pretty much say that about everyone. Like, you literally scroll through, like, the Calientes. Dina looks completely different in The Sims 4. One, skin tone, because we didn't have the best skin tones when The Sims 4 came out, and they did heavily whitewash the Calientes. But yeah, in all previous games, you kind of scroll up and you're like, I have a sense of like who you are, like you look similar in all of the games, and then Sims 4 just throws a complete spanner in the works. And I know they said like, well, this isn't like a prequel or a sequel. Sims 4 is in like an alternative universe, which I still do not buy into, by the way. Don just doesn't feel like himself. Like, I really don't know what it was. I think it was like the outfit changes. Like, he's such a bro in The Sims 4, which just feels so weird, because like in the past Sims game, his fashion, like, he was kind of suave, even though he still looked as if you would try to avoid him in a club if you saw him. He had that like air of like, I know that I'm dressed well, I know that I take care of myself, and I want you to know that. I went with his more classic outfit. I wanted him to like wear a shirt. I feel like he always classically like had a brown shirt on or a striped shirt, so that's what I did. I'm fairly sure I also changed his hairstyle as well. Yes, it is a Lego looking base game hair, but to be fair, with black hair in base game, you can't really see the details all too much. And then I just wanted to make him a little bit more sophisticated. All of these Sims will actually be up on my gallery, and they're all base game compatible. I also have this hilarious theory that Don skips leg day. Like, I just don't think he trains his legs. Also, you cannot deny that Don Lothario would go on Love Island and he would wear white skinny jeans to like every party they ever host. And of course, last but not least, we have the mother hen of all. I will call her mother. I'll call her whatever she wants me to. Honestly, we have the very controversial Katrina Caliente. I really don't know what they're gonna do with Katrina if we ever get this Caliente refresh. I'm like, she didn't exist in past Sims games. Like, the twins did have a mother, however, she was not called Katrina. I honestly cannot really see them going back to her original name. I feel like Katrina is so ingrained in The Sims 4 now, and I think like new players and old players alike, especially if people haven't played The Sims 2 and don't really know all of the lore, it would be super confusing to just like suddenly have a completely different woman be the mother of Dina and Nina. However, I kind of really hope that even if they don't go back to her name, I hope they at least change her to make her look like her Sims 2 version. So this is a sim that I quickly mocked up. We don't have that many braids in base games, so I did have to go for this one. I actually really like the look of, especially with sort of the texture that it has. It looks really good in the white hair. Definitely more accurate to the Sims 2 version. However, is actually deceased in the Sims 2. So I don't know whether the Sims 4 team were just like, you know what, like, we want to create their mother, but you know, she was deceased in the Sims 2, so should we just like reincarnate her as Katrina? And I don't know, I just feel like this version of the sim is definitely like above Don Lothario, whereas the Sims 4 version of her, I definitely don't think is. So if they do decide to stick with the Sims 4 version of Katrina, again, I kind of just made her look a little bit more like the twins. I didn't really change too much about her. her just like a couple of facial features. I gave her more of like, I guess, the alien look. Although I don't know if the alien side came from like her line or their father's line. I'm fairly sure it was their father's line. But I just wanted her to have like the striking jawline and the striking cheekbones. And then again, I kind of just like elevated her fits. I'm not gonna lie, I truly cannot remember what this woman was wearing in the original version of the Sims 4 version of Katrina. But I figured she was like, I want to be like a cool mum. She has the Mean Girls mum energy, specifically in this athletic wear. I kind of wanted to make her seem a bit more, not motherly, I don't think that's the word that I'm going for. Like, this gives big Meredith Blake vibes, and I think that's what I wanted to go for. Like, a bit more classic with kind of like hot pink thrown in. It just feels very Katrina to me for some reason. Katrina, Katrina, Katrina. And of course, my biggest feedback when it came to the goth refresh was obviously them not sorting out the relationships and not focusing on the lore that The Sims 4 gives us. In this household, it's literally even more important, I feel, because these are all meant to have like relationships with each other, and you know, Don's meant to be like cheating on all of them, and yeah, I'm fairly sure he's like only in a relationship with Katrina, but then it just says hinted, so I'm fairly sure when you actually load into the household, like those two don't even have like any romance, even though it is heavily hinted at in the family bio, and it just seems ridiculous that they're all only acquaintances. So I really do hope that this time around they also focus on that lore and tell the stories when it comes to relationships. We obviously also have sentiments now, and we've seen that the team are capable of doing that. Like, all the past packs that we've had recently have had relationships with each other. The Townies have sentiments towards each other. When it talks about a storyline happening, it's actually shown within like your Sims lived experience, like either in their memories now, if you have growing together. I just think there's so much more like unlocked potential that they have with these Townie refreshes. Like, it's all well and good wanting to edit the way that they look. Obviously, it's very important to change their skin tones when it comes to the Calientes. Fingers crossed that is going to happen. But you know, looks on everything. So I would love to hear your opinions on this. What did you think of my makeovers of them? Honestly, I do feel like I should have checked their traits a little bit more, because I did these obviously years ago and it felt very like disjointed to what I would probably give them nowadays. But what I would love to hear more is kind of what you want to see in the Calientes. Would you prefer them to make them look like their Sims 2 versions? Would you like them to maybe carry on running with the theme of them being alternate universe ones? I think it's a really interesting topic, and I'm scared but excited to see what this refresh is actually gonna be. I know a lot of people were disappointed with the goth refresh. I think it's always gonna be a weird thing to do when people are so used to a certain family for like so many years. I don't know how long it's going to take them to do a full Townie refresh of every single sim that they've ever made, because it's taken us, what, about 3 years to get 2 families? So I feel like that idea may have been scrapped. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Sorry, I feel like this video was all over the place. I feel like I was very like poo. Like I wasn't pooing. I would just had ideas flying everywhere. You know, you catch my drift. You know what I was saying. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.